Hi, my name is Detroit Miracle, and I am here to protest all the local news stations. Don't get me wrong, I credit those such local news stations all over the country for informing people, but I think it's just too many of them telling everybody about all the bad that goes on without telling anyone too much about good that's happening all over the place. So there's no coin when it comes to those local news channels. And I'm not counting the entertainment channels that's talking about celebrity news. That's something entirely different. So you can't say that, well, the local news tells us the bad news and these entertainment news tells us the good news. No, that's not the same because the entertainment news does not tell stories on the average Jane Doe or Joe Blow in the communities. But rather they're always talking about people with $50 million that has huge castle-sized homes, and the average person from average neighborhoods does not identify with those people anyway, because rich people and poor people do not have the same problems and issues in general, because rich people does not have to concern themselves with issues like safety, security, poverty, homelessness, paying bills, and etc. But I'm not saying that rich celebrities or other rich type of people aren't good persons, because many of them are. But maybe some have forgotten that they are because they are so drawn out. I know I'm getting off of the topic, and the whole issue here is bad news channels. You know, I have a problem with bad news stations just telling people all the bad that happens on a day-to-day basis, because that will mess your mind up. It will drive you crazy. And like I said, there is no coin like of two sides where it is like good local news stations telling people all the good news that happens in people's lives, and also at the same time there being local news stations that inform people on the bad stuff that happens. So I think it should be like a perfect balance there. Just think about that for a moment, people. Doesn't that make more sense? Because if you, I know it's too late for many of us because we grew up watching the local news stations that mostly told us about bad stuff happening all the time. So, and that stuff gets embedded in your very soul. So you adopt a notion after a while that abandons all hope, because you're like, wow, dang, I'm coming in every day. I'm waking up every day. Then I'm watching the morning news, then the afternoon news, and then the night news, and they mostly talking about bad stuff that happens. No, that pretty much compel somebody to believe that it's just mostly bad, evil people out there doing bad, evil stuff, instead of it being mostly good people out there doing good stuff and making a positive impression upon society as a whole. Yes, people, that is an undeniable truth again. So do you not agree with me there that if they have as many local news stations as they do informing people on bad news constantly, that they should at least have an equal amount of local news stations informing people of good things that are happening in people's lives and throughout society? Or they could quite simply change the format up on the local news stations where they would give half of good and half of bad and then give the sports and weather. That would be much better than just giving you mostly bad news stories and then going into the like, oh well, I'm gonna tell all these people about all the bad stuff and all the ails and woes of society, and then I'll go give them the weather and the sports. And then I'll give them maybe one story that's not so bad and then close out the news. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Because I think that will inspire people more if they put on a lot more good stories about people in general. And I mean, like the stories about average working class people that live in regular communities and neighborhoods. Well, if you all agree with me on this message, please drop those likes, comments, and up those subscriptions to me, Detroit Miracle.